Well, I've met some of you, I think, when we had at Wild Dog, I think we had a community fire guard group, if you want to, for want of a better word, where we looked at preparedness regarding fire response. And in that sort of session, we looked at making sense of the fire danger rating system and what that actually means to the spread of fire, looking at fire plans, how they may work, and to improve fire plans. And part of this project is the connection of the local community and their response and members of the community, and also the agencies. My probably pet interest is to improve decision making. So I want to use some fire modelling, sort of demonstrate and if you like, slow down the decision making. So the fire modelling is what's called the Phoenix fire model. So it's been refined over the years, but it's only a model. There's a lot of flaws in it. And it's only based on information that they have at that time. So it's an indication of what might happen. The studies have shown it's the actions of the local community and the local responders in the first 1 to 2 hours that will have the greatest impact going forward on the outcomes. The agencies will not be able to get a truck to where you want them to be, more than likely. And whether we want to wish it that way, it won't change the fact that it probably won't. So we're going to sort of work out, we've been working with the response agencies using exactly the same modelling to get their response and decision making. So the reason it's important for you to know what the agencies are doing and the agencies to know what you are doing is we link together. If we can get ourselves coordinated at a local level, because we live here, live in this area, we know it best, that when the outside cavalry arrive, they connect to our systems and processes based on what we're doing, not the other way around. First priority is yourself and your family. That's your first. Make sure you're safe. If that's okay and you're in a good place, is your neighbour. Making sure that connection with the neighbour, the relationships is the most important thing in any of these things. The relationships performed before this all happens is the key. And then third, if you find yourself able, after looking after yourself and your neighbours are okay, and you find yourself that you can actually help out with the community, I can actually step forward in all these places as part of the broader community plan. No one's making you, but as we always say, everything you need in a community, everything you need to deal with everything you're going to be confronted with already lives in this community. It's the same with every community. When the cavalry arrive, they're not from here. So you've got the other advantage where you're also a local. I know stuff, I know people, I can actually do stuff. So that's an important part of it. But the first thing is we've got to make sure you're comfortable and safe with your decision, where you are and about. Now we've always go through, everyone's got a plan, yes. I hope after last session we might have tightened up with a few trigger points. So we're going to run through a scenario. You can see the weather up there. For those who were in the first session, the Forest Fire Danger Index is what a lot of our fire danger ratings is based on. So that will put us in the extreme rating. 75 plus as a number is an extreme day. So on an extreme day, from a fire agency's point of view, they would, the local brigade might have a crew sitting at the fire station. In Colac, they'd have an incident management team in place, ready to go. So they would be sitting there. So all agencies have different trigger points. So at a fire danger rating of whatever it is, this is happening, and then at this level, we've got bulldozers on truck, and we're on this level we've got. So everything's scaled up. So that's happening in the background. And it's good to know. Also, too, the first thing once a fire starts is aircraft are on the way. It's part of what they call a predetermined dispatch. And all that will be is when the fire is reported on a day particular like that, aircraft are responded the same as the fire brigade is. So the moment the fire brigade pager goes off to say there's a fire in your area, that helicopter page is going off and they're in the air from Colac. So they'll be here probably, I would say, in 15 minutes to any fire probably in this district from Colac. So and that's a known, if you like. So what we're going to do is we go through, I've split the scenario up into hour chunks. And I want to pull apart the decision making at each of the chunks of to make sure that we make better decisions, because this is all it is. It's about decisions. Lots and lots of decisions. And the other thing with bushfires is that you have more time than you think. You have way more time. And we want you to take the time to actually, and it can be up to 5 or 10 minutes, take the time and think through your actions. The other thing with the Phoenix fire modelling is, and I'll talk it through as we show it, as it's an indicator, and sometimes it looks worse than it is because the little pixels it shows are actually a very broad brush. You can see the weather, that's what the day is. It's 11 o'clock, January, Saturday. What's the town like? The road like? Busy? Yep, as all of us is. We hope it's busy because we're looking at money coming into our community. Typically people try to leave the way they came in, and all those sort of things. And of course, you look at the roads, and then what we want to look is, well, where's a good place to go? Do you really want to be driving along the Great Ocean Road or back up towards Forest? What are our options? And there's so many options. We're going to run this model, but the fire can start anywhere. So this is just an indicator of fire spread and a bit of it with intensity. Okay, so there's our fire start. What's a known for you right now? 11 o'clock. That's probably come up on an app, the EMV app, just saying you've got a bushfire in your area. Because at the moment we know we have a fire, we know it's a bad day, we know there's potential, we don't know the size, we don't know the access. Well, we're not sure if are there other fires in the area on the other north of us that are happening, because they take resources. And we're just going to hope too that we aren't at another job at that time. So there's a lot of unknowns of what, if we have all the resources. The biggest thing with this is, you know, we've got the northwesterly winds. If you're on the east of it, that's the worry point. If you're north of it or to the west of it, okay. And that's that 5 minutes. Use that 5 minutes. I've got a location. Pull the map out. I'll show you on the map where it is, and you can do the roughly, because it's going to be, you know, you draw the line, north-northwest, there's the line. So it's all about time and space. When's it going to hit there? Rates of spread, and we talked about with the app, there where you can do your 5-day app, where you can actually put in the weather conditions, and it will tell you rates of spread. It said hit a fire, it's heading that direction, it'll be there 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay, now you've got stuff for a decision, and this is what it's about. Work your way through the decision. Remember, you've got 10 minutes plus. Use it. Don't go, oh my God, start packing the car. Well, before we start packing the car, let's get the map out or look at the Google Maps, push the weather conditions into the, you know, the Fire Danger Index app. That'll get you the rates of spread. Okay, it's travelling at 1 kilometre an hour. Okay, it'll be here in 1 hour, hitting 2 hours. And like I said, find out where it is in relation to you. So if you're north of it, just stand down, stand easy. So that few minutes, get the fire where it's in relation to you and potential. What can we control? Ourselves, yep. Our response, we do. What can't we control? The weather. We can't control the agency's response. Can't control the access. 1 hour later. Okay, now what do we know? Spreading, yep. And this is the thing is, if you can see the smoke, that's going to be your best indicator of how significance of this fire. So you'll see that, you know, when it starts, it won't start and go boom. It'll start and build, and is the smoke building? The smoke changes colour. Is it getting darker? Is it starting to get that billowy and it rising fast? Now don't worry about the size of the pixels, because that's 3 hectares. So you can imagine there's a lot of variance in 3 hectares of land. So each of those pixels are 3 hectares, and the colour is the intensity. So those dark maroon and the red are your high intensity, moderate intensity, these are lower intensity. You'll see that's in the grass. So what do you think people are doing now? Skenes Creek is certainly going to be seeing this, aren't they? The smoke's now, you can imagine smoke that's coming over that, and if it's putting spot fires there, that means the smoke will be leaning over here. So anyone in, so wherever you guys, where you are, if you're north of it, you're sitting there going, okay, I'll just sit back here. And where would you go if you wanted to leave? Go north. Go over the back. But yeah, but you're in Skenes Creek. You've got spot fires here. Now, of course, looking at this, you go, oh, I'll just drive out, I've got plenty of time. But that's not what it's going to look like. You won't even know, it'll look like the fire's there, because you're going to have smoke, you're going to have glow of spot fire in it, and it's going to look like the fire's on your doorstep. At this stage, no firefighting, you won't catch that. No, you can throw every fire appliance you can, you're not going to catch that at that point in time with the intensity of that. Aircraft will be working parts of it, and typically aircraft will work the flank of the fire if they can get into it, the eastern flank. They're trying to stop the... So thoughts now, any thoughts related to your position? There's no right or wrong answer, but what's the risk? Yeah, going up that road, where you're at the end of the unknown, aren't you? If you get past it.
That's tree line, it's that, it's heavily tree.
Yep. So one thing happening, one thing going wrong. So you start to, okay, but you've got to explore each there. What are the options? What are the pros and cons of going up there? Well, if I get through, I'm gold. But if a tree falls across, if all these things happen, so I can't get to Apollo Bay, right? That's one option. That's cut off. I'm not going to die on the beach. It's not great, but. And this is what we keep going to, at these points in time, from my perspective, that we don't lose lives. Not about having a perfect time, it's about getting through all this. And it will be the worst day. So let's have a look what it's like 2 hours after that fire starts. What do you noticed? That fire behaviour. Let's go back that again. So that one, so now, but what did you notice as far as the spread forward in an hour? We're starting to see more yellow. And an indicator with it too is that from a fuel perspective, because it's not in a big long line with those sort of winds, that it's actually spreading wider. The fuel, the change of the fuel. So you can sort of see, and that's why that's red in the forest bit there. You see the yellow in the grass. So the red will have little jackpots of fuel. So in your mind, what do you reckon the next slide's going to look like where it's running to? More yellow, reds? Yep.
Yellow all the way down to the sea.
Normally it'll follow the fuels, and that spread is really quite slow. For an hour, that's not moving fast. That's due to the nature of the fuels. And to be perfectly honest, the structure we use, the guidance we give to the person who runs the model is we want to put spot fires into the town at the 2 hour mark, as from a modelling point of view for us, so that it's that from a response agency is that geez, do we start setting up the town? Do we go to the fire? When do we engage? When do we disengage? And having spotting into the town within a couple of hours really speeds up that call. When the fire starts, in the IMT, when that's the first thing I'll do is do one of these runs. and that'll be related to the local command facility. It'll give you an idea. We're going to get spotting into Skenes Creek in 2 hours. It doesn't run through build-up areas like that. It's not going through like a tsunami. They can't, so, because of fuel, the fire is totally by fuel. So when it hits the housing bit, it'll almost be like, take 2 streets back. What's happened now? See that dark brandy red? That's your high intensity, that's the extreme intensity, and then the yellows are you're getting into the moderate intensity stuff. The purple, which you haven't got any there, is basically gone out. The advantage you have with the grasslands is the grassland you're looking at, whether it's natural pasture where you've got knee-high grass, or if it's grazed or this high, because that'll affect your flame heights. So all that fuel is ladder. So if it's all on the ground and low, your flame height can't be as much. And that's the key with why it's the forest, because you have your treetops and then you've got the ladder fuel that takes fire from the ground up. So the increased flame height, increased intensity. Then when it comes out of the forest, so you imagine if coming through the forest, through the tops of the trees, spots coming out, comes out, and then what happens when it gets to the grassland? Down. Massively. You light a match. So you imagine lighting the top of the tree as a match. How does the match burn? Slowly down the thing. If we turn the match upwards, where the fuel's from below, it burns up. So embers landing in trees will actually, could you imagine the heat required to dry out the leaves, green leaves, dry enough to burn? The heat required just to do that. So a burning lump of bark won't be able to put the heat to set that alight. However, if we've got a fire starting below that's running up with a lot more heat, and that hot air going up is drying out the leaves, that's the difference. So then you look at the type of fuels. Here we've got the Otways. When was the last major bushfire in the Otways? Major. 39? And there's a reason for that. The area, the vegetation, the rainfall, all those types of things. But then you do get a dry year. When you get a dry year, this is where the worst is. When you do get a dry year, because you have so much fuels, because of the type of vegetation, when you do get the year where you've had prolonged drought, fuel load a lot heavier. So that would have a higher risk in those, prolonged drought. Does that make sense?